It's noon, so we'll call the meeting to order. Could you start us off with roll call?
Benson.
Here.
Sarda.
Here.
Fertig.
Here.
Hoffner.
Here.
Schramm.
Here.
Weber.
Here.
Mayor Johnson.
Here.
City Manager Long.
Here.
City Attorney Denherter.
Here. You have before you the minutes of the regular meeting of December 9th, 2019. What is your pleasure?
Move to approve the minutes.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any commission discussion about the minutes? All those in favor of approving them, say aye.
Aye.
Is anyone opposed? Thank you very much. Next, you have before you the schedule of bills. What is your pleasure?
Move to pay the bills. Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the bills. Is there any commission discussion? Would anyone in the audience like to address the commission? All those, roll call.
Fertig.
Aye.
Hoffner.
Aye.
Mosier. She's not here yet. Schramm.
Aye.
Weber.
Aye.
Benson.
Aye.
Sarda.
Aye.
Mayor Johnson.
Aye.
Vote to pay the bills? Huh?
Say
Aye.
Next is public appearances. This is the time when anyone in the audience can address the commission about an item not on today's agenda. Seeing no movement in our small audience today, we'll go to the consent item agenda. Number one is established January 13th, 2020 as the date for the public hearing on the request for a special events retail on-sale liquor license for January 18th, 2020 from Ben's Brewing Company, and that will be for an event at the National Field Archery Association, and it will be for Dancing with the Stars event. Number two is established January 13th, 2020 as the date for the public hearing on the request for a transfer of location of a retail on-off sale malt beverage license for July 1st, 2019 to June 30th, 2020 from To Be Free LLC doing business as R&B Beer and Burgers, and this would add Sweet C to their facility. Number three is established January 13th, 2020 as the date for the public hearing on the request for a transfer of location of a retail on-off sale wine and cider license for January 1st, 2020 to December 31st, 2020. Again, for the To Be Free LLC, doing business as R&B Beer and Burgers. And again, this adds Sweet C to the floor plan license. Number four, established January 13th, 2020 as the date for the public hearing on the request for a special events off-sale package dealer's license for January 18th, 2020 from River City Domestic Violence Center for a fundraising silent auction during their Dancing with the Stars event at the National Field Archery Association. What is your pleasure?
Move the consent agenda.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any commission discussion on any of these items? Would anyone in the audience like to address the commission on any of these items? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Is anyone opposed? Motion passes. Thank you very much. Moving on to old business. Number one is consideration of memorandum 19-265 regarding the request for a special events malt beverage on-sale retailer's license and special on-sale wine retailer's license for December 31st, 2019 from the center at 900 Whiting Drive. What is your pleasure?
I'll move the memorandum.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any commission discussion on this item? Would anyone in the audience like to address the commission on this item? Roll call.
Hoffner.
Aye.
Schramm.
Aye.
Mosier.
Aye.
Weber.
Aye.
Benson.
Aye.
Sarda.
Aye.
Fertig.
Aye.
Mayor Johnson.
Aye. Motion passes. Number two, under old business, is consideration of memorandum 19-266 regarding the request for a special events on-sale liquor license for January 1st, 2020 from Dayhuff Enterprises doing business as O'Malley's Irish Pub. This would be for an event at 800 Archery Lane, which is the National Field Archery Association. What is your pleasure?
Move the memorandum.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any commission discussion on this item? Would anyone in the audience like to address the commission on this item? Roll call.
Mosier.
Aye.
Schramm.
Aye.
Weber.
Aye.
Benson.
Aye.
Sarda.
Aye.
Fertig.
Aye.
Hoffner.
Aye.
Mayor Johnson.
Aye. Motion passes. Moving on to new business is consideration memorandum 19-267 supporting resolution 19-79 which was the contingency transfer resolution. And this would transfer $39,000 that could be used in the snow and ice budget should we have an event before the end of the year, a snow event before the end of the year. Do I have that right, Ian?
Correct. Just for a short explanation, this works literally the exact same as a budget supplement, only it doesn't take 2 meetings because you aren't doing it by ordinance, you're doing it by resolution. Just like any supplement, just because we transfer that money doesn't mean it's gonna be spent. It's all dependent on, you know, what happens with snow events and stuff. As of right now, it looks like maybe we won't even spend any, but again, it just, legally, I have to have you adjust the budget if we overspend. Otherwise, it comes up as a little ding on the audit. Just trying to eliminate dings on the audit, so to speak, so.
And for those who may be wondering, 39,000 is actually a pretty conservative estimate on what a snow event would cost.
Yeah, it's closer to about 20,000 on a normal snow event. It can be more if a heavier snow, certainly a lot less if it's like the couple light ones we've had. We've had one normal snow occurrence and a couple of light ones. It all just depends on what the snow's like and stuff, so. We had a couple of major ones, we could still overspend what we just did here, and we'll do another one in January then, but again, it's looking like we'll be fine, we won't even need the contingency part, again, depending on weather, so.
Do we have a motion on this item?
So moved. Second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any more commission discussion? Would anyone in the audience like to address the commission on this item? Roll call.
Schramm,
Aye.
Weber,
Aye.
Benson,
Aye.
Sarda,
Aye.
Fertig,
Aye.
Hoffner,
Aye.
Mosier,
Aye.
Mayor Johnson.
Aye.
And then I'll interrupt before you go to the adjournment. Commissioner Sarda had asked for an update on the BBB, and I'll pass out a sheet. Again, this is a working document that it's as good as the day it's written. But if you take a moment to look at it, then I'll try and explain. You get enough there? One down. Anything in yellow are changes from what you originally budgeted. So if you go to the 2009 estimated, anything that's in yellow, that also includes, and I notice now that I didn't have the descriptions all yellowed out, but for instance, if you go about 2/3 of the way down of the top part, where it says special projects dash air show, that's where we spent the 20,000 that we gave to the air show. So that 32.5 estimate includes that. And then the ones that that I didn't highlight the description, but the dollar amounts are changing. The website, where we originally budgeted 8, we're at about 15.6 and probably done with that. So the estimate now is 16,000. The 55,000, that was part of, and the 16 and the 55 that I'm talking about now were both supplemented with the last supplement that you approved the last meeting. So that includes all the special events that Brittany was in charge of, and some of the expenditures she had that are above and beyond. The 106 on the transfer to the debt service, the only reason that's higher is because of the refunding. We had some fees and stuff too, so our debt service this year is gonna be higher than what we originally projected. Again, over the long haul, we'll save 200,000, we're just spending a little bit more this year. And then the last two on those that are next year's expenditures are the NFAA tournament that you just approved for the 25,000, and the semi-trailer that you just approved at the last meeting for the 6,000. If you go to the bottom portion, if you look at the 2019 estimated prior year's balance, now we're estimating that we'll finish at 578. That's a change from what the original adopted was, and I should have brought up a copy of the original adopted so I could tell you what the difference is, but The BBB tax revenue, the reason that jumps up on 2019 is because we still don't have a month and a half in there. So where our original estimate is, plus the month and a half, I've added that in, and I've also reflected a little different change to next year's estimate. The interest itself, the interest line item, both of those are higher this year. Should be less next year just because we're spending our balance down. All said and done, now it looks like at the end of next year, if everything happened the way it was projected, we'd have a balance of 60,000. The 40,000 underneath that is the NFAA commitment that you've made to 2021. We'll probably pay that next year, but I wanted to include that. That was at last meeting. So that would leave us with a balance of 20,000. Now keep in mind that that also includes the 450,000 that we originally budgeted to transfer to the Huther Aquatic Center, and it really is looking positive that we won't have to do that. But that's budgeted, so all I did on this is just added it back in on the bottom, so now it would be projecting that we'd have a balance at the end of next year of 470,000. Again, it's only as good as the day it's written, but, Commissioner Sarda had asked for that update because of some of the changes that you've approved throughout the year. You don't always see it in a list like this. So, it's a draft only. When you walk out the door, it's no longer valid. Again, it's a good estimate so far, so. Any questions about it at all? And anytime, if you take it home, look it over, and you have some other questions yet, just call. You know, we'll explain it over the phone, or we'll do a mass one that everybody gets the same message, so to speak.
So if the projections are correct, and you take out the aquatics, we basically been keeping a balance of about $500,000.
Yep, yep.
And that's kind of what we've been kind of settling.
You've
We talked earlier
trickled it
about-
down a little bit.
We talked earlier about, let's get $1 million in there and just keep on keeping it at that level for special projects or something that comes up that we really feel strong, well, kind of like the aquatic center came up. And then we budget out, and then of course with the bids, we should be able to save that. We still come into that kind of where we settle in usually around that 400,000 to 500,000 seems like, for what it's worth, and it's a good cushion, I think. There may be a project that this commission feels very strongly about, and like the aquatics, that could be dipped in or whatever.
But that would just be next year. The year after,
Yep.
we are spending it.
You're spending down again, you're overspending what your revenues are.
So then we will.
So you'll be less than the balance again in 2021,
But we don't know, we haven't
Yeah.
really.
and you haven't got the revenue yet, of course, either, that's a projection, so.
And you put the revenue at, certain
Actually,
percentage.
for next year, excuse me, I estimated about what you're gonna be on this year, so I didn't add any extra into that yet. So it's a conservative estimate again.
Thanks for putting it together.
Yep. And like I said, when you get home and look it over, if you've got other questions, just give a call. And then I see Amy's got the November tax sales up, I'll let her
I
give
think
us her.
Colleen maybe emailed them out to you all, but our for November, we were up 4.21%, which gives us a cumulative balance for the year of a positive 3.65%. We still have December to go, but I think we have a really good indication we'll end up about 3%, which is kind of always our goal, so we're really happy about that. I think we had some maybe timing and reporting things happening the last few months, because that one month we were negative and then we were up almost 8%, so I'm thinking overall the year and the fall was real positive for us, so hopefully we continue that same trend. We did budget conservatively for 2020 as a flat year, a 0% increase, and we hope we're very wrong about that. I just think we still have yet to see some of the impacts of what's happened in agriculture and probably with our flooding as well, so we'll give it a little more prognosis when we get in the spring. If there's questions for me, I can answer those as well. I believe Triple B was up as well.
back of our mind, we keep saying, I don't know, we've talked about this, is that this ag economy is gonna pull us down, it's something that factors into our budget. I don't know how much, I don't know, what, can you imagine if our ag economy was strong, you know, what our numbers would be, I can't imagine it'd be much better yet. So this is good considering the ag economy. That brings the BBB is down, that brings that average number down to the, whole versus
Yeah,
second page.
although I think in November, it looked like BBB was up, let's see, 4.9%, so that's cumulative difference, then it brings them up 1.83. They had some tougher months, but, yeah, again, that could be reporting or what have you, but good way to end the year.
Any other questions or input?
Since we had our meeting, the BBB increased $21.25.
Did you just get an email notice that your wife spent some for lunch or something?
Yeah.
Sandy's out eating lunch.
You went Christmas out, maybe that's $25.
Speaking of lunch, you're all invited. Community Development hosts an annual potluck, so you're all invited to stay and eat if you'd like. Media friends too, if you're interested in a lot of good food. There's a lot of talk this year about what's good, what's missing that's been really good in past years, and what's really good that's new. So there was no candied bacon this year.
What?
It's already been discussed.
I was trolling
It's
there.
already
Move on, huh?
It's already been.
Do we need to add business to, for planning for asking candy bacon next year?
I don't know, it comes out of Dwayne's department, so I don't know if we have to, you know, maybe I can just take it up with management in Dwayne's department.
Your motion should reflect that Amy will have to direct, because again, you can't direct us.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah.
I don't care how it happens.
It just better appear.
Well, the only other business I would add is, happy holidays, everyone. Great holiday season and happy new year. With that, I would ask for a motion to adjourn.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
All right.
Anyone opposed?